Okay, for problem solving, normally consists of 5 to 12 members in the group. Normally they come from the same departments. They form teams to solve some problem related to the task. So they come normally few hours per week to improve the quality, efficiency, and work environment. That's why they is called problem solving, because the aim is to improve the quality and improve efficiency, and also improve the conditions of the work environments. And you can see this actually can be found a lot in the manufacturing plants or in the factories or in the company that relate to the manufacturing products or some related products. So normally the teams, problem solving teams, they come up with the suggestions to improve to solve the problems, but they rarely have the authority to implement the solution that they come up with. So I mean, as an individual person, so the individual employee members in the team, they do not have the authority to implement the suggestions. They can come up with the suggestions, but they do not have the authority to implement the suggestions. So for self-managed teams, normally consist of 10 to 15 employees. They perform they form the teams to perform highly interrelated or interdependent jobs. From the name self-managed teams, is mean the employees or the teams in the members in the team have to manage their own teams. So it depends if the self-managed team is a fully self-managed teams. That means they don't have the supervisor. They themselves are members among members. They have to be responsible for the effectiveness of the team. But normal self-managed team, they have supervisors, but this supervisor has some small or minor importance in the team, because a self-managed team are employees or members in the team responsible for their own performance. So they do not need managers, or they do not need supervisor. But some self-managed team have supervisor, but this supervisor has reduced in terms of importance in the teams. So however, self-managed teams are not effective when there is a conflict, because the aim of the team is actually to interdependent among each other among the members. So if there are some conflicts in the teams, the team become not really effective, because teams tend to stop cooperating when they have a conflict with each other. So cross-functional teams, the teams consist of their own departments. For example, they may come from functional departments, from HR, from finance, from marketing, and then they've been suggested to form a teams to help others in the project, or maybe there's projects that need a teams. So members in this cross-functional team come from different kind of background. That's why it says employee from same hierarchical level. That means they come from the same hierarchical level, but different department, different functions, from different work area. That's mean from different function. That's why it says cross-functional. So members come from cross-functional department or from different work area. They come together to accomplish the task. Why they need members from cross-functional? Because they need the skill from different functions. They need the experience from of the members from different functions. So they come up together in the team. They have a collaborative efforts, because they come up with different kind of skill, different kind of functions to accomplish the task. So they have, each of the members have different unique characteristic in terms of skill, instead of competency, in terms of experience, and so on. So these teams can become very effective, because they have all the differences, they have have all the competencies. They also complement the weaknesses of each other members. So as you can see here, the cross-functional, they come from different function and they form a team. So each member has high in terms of skill, in terms of experience, and this one may have different experience because they come from different functions here. This one from different functions, so this member have to rely on each other members because each member has their own different expertise, have different own skill, so they need to collaborate with each other, cooperate each other in order to accomplish the task. If they didn't cooperate with each other, they do not have the enough skill or competency to perform the task. So for visual teams, as you all know, normally the teams use computer technology to collaborate with each other. So the teams do not meet face to face, like problem solving, self-managed, cross-functional. They may also meet over the video conferencing, but they normally meet face to face when they want to be in the when to discuss something. But for visual, the teams normally interact using computer technology or over the online over visual basis. So teams using computer technology, they type physically dispersed members because members in the team do not sit in the same place. So they may be all around the world. So they interact using technology, computer technology, internet, and so on. So they collaborate online using communication link. If without this, they cannot communicate, they cannot work as a team. So to be effective management, because they are physically isolated from the other members, so in order to be effective management should ensure that the trust exists between the members. So that's what is meant visual. They just mix over the online, they just interact through online, so they physically isolated. So in order to be effective, members need to trust each other members, and their progress also need to be monitored closely so that they focus on the goal. If not, it's very difficult for the management to manage this group because members maybe live in other part of the world. So it is important for the managers to monitor their progress and the effort and the products of the team. The performance of the team need to be publicized throughout the organizations. If they didn't publicize, if they didn't put effort, and this effort didn't be publicized, not many people will know because they work alone. Not even though they work in the team, but they interact through online. They didn't sit together physically, met or face to face. So that's why it is difficult to measure their performance. So based on this, management should ensure the effort and products of the teams are publicized throughout the organization to ensure that each of the members know that's about their performance, whether they achieve or not the performance. So multi-team system, there's another teams apart from these 4 teams. There's this team called multi-teams. Multi-team is actually the teams within the teams. So it's a collections of 2 or more interdependent teams that share a superordinate goal. So basically, it's one team belong to the another things. For example, in the textbook it says if there is a major car accident, as you can see in the hospital, they have many teams working together. So let's say there's a car accident. There is a very major car accident. So one of the teams belong to emergency medical services. That's mean the ambulance with the doctors in the ambulance will go to the scenes and then treats the patients or treat the victims and brings into the ambulance, and then in the ambulance and then we be sent to the hospital, and at the hospital there's another teams under the emergency room teams. They will treat the patients, the victims, and then they maybe do some operations to the victims, and then after they finish operation, after they finish treat these patients or this victim, there will be another teams that will look after the recovery parts of this victim. So each of the teams are responsible to the other team, so they interdependent also. So as you can see here, the teams of the team of the teams, that means one team rely on another teams or of another team. That's why it said multi teams, because there are two or more interdependent teams. The performance or the effectiveness of one team will be depend on the effectiveness of another teams. So if let's say these teams are effective but not this team, so the whole team consider are not effective. So their activities are all dependent on the success of the other team. So that's why it says multi teams, because one team depend on the other teams, and as a whole, the success of the whole depend on the other teams. So as you can see, multi-teams basically like this. This is one team here, one team here, one team here. So the success of the team as a whole depend on each other. Let's say this team effective, this team is not effective. So even though this team also effective, but the whole team are considered not effective because each team depend on each other. Let's say operation is not good, even though leadership is good, but at the end operation still cannot pull off, cannot be able to produce good products. So intelligence, maybe because so basically this is just the example, but to tell you that each of the team rely on each other. If one team cannot perform, it will affect the other also to the in terms of performance. So the characteristic of effective teams. So in order to know whether the team is effective or not, we need to look at the characteristic that contribute to the effectiveness of the team. First one is in terms of context, in terms of team compositions, in terms of process. So in order to make sure that teams are effective, we have to look at the context. Context also contribute to the effectiveness of the team, and also the team compositions, the skill, the abilities of the members, the personality, diversity, size of the team also contribute to the team's effectiveness. And also the process, while the teams are performing their tasks or carry out their tasks, whether in the process of carrying out the task, actually the process itself is effective or not, in terms of, for example, conflict level, in terms of common purpose, and so on. So these three things, context, context, composition, and process actually contribute to team effectiveness. So we're gonna go one by one. Context, each of the elements, each of the compositions is compositions of process. We're going to discuss one by one how this contribute to the team effectiveness as a whole.